Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Starseed Dragon channel. We are doing our review of the Elemental Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, Alchemy, Science, Magic. It's a 44 card deck. It's rather enlightening. And we are going to start off with number 22, Air. Motion. Be flexible yet grounded. Allow yourself free thought. Move and choose. Find your freedom. Use your voice resourcefully. Stand up for what you believe in. Be mindful of the way you communicate. Word of power. Air. Latin. Air, ether. The element of air has always been associated with movements and with the higher spirits. It is a cleansing element that enables us to fly free and allow our minds to travel. Air is associated with all breath, breathing, the lungs, the voice, music, wind, and storms. It is the element of communication, and its most destructive air is disconnected, chaotic, undisciplined, and untethered. While we consider a storm after a long drought to be cleansing and nourishing, an intensive storm such as a hurricane can be wildly destructive. The word airhead normally refers to someone who doesn't consider things much consider things much and who just flits around from one thing to another willy-nilly. Finding your own space and healthy motion is important, and finding your own breath of fresh air will enable you to see things differently and to start anew. Element is air. Beautiful. Next card. Number 23, storms. Cleansing. Sometimes you need to raise a lot of energy to blow away what you no longer need. An issue will come to a dramatic head. Cleanse your body. Let go of what you feel you no longer need. Be specific in your release. Harm as little as you can. Word of power. Tempestus. Latin, storm. Storms are created when a center of low pressure develops with the system of high pressure surrounding it. Thunderstorms frequently form within areas where a warm, moist air front collides with and borders cold air fronts. Spectacular, beautiful, and somewhat dangerous, these storms can also hurl out hail. Watching a storm come in over the ocean or watching storm clouds form is often an awe-inspiring sight. Watching big, steely gray clouds come in from the horizon at the end of a steaming hot day was a common occurrence where I grew up. We would watch the clouds form and drop their heavy, watery burdened, big fat drops hitting the bitumen and causing steam to rise from the road. We always experienced a feeling of all that intensity coming to a head and a comfortable coolness replacing it. Storms raise a lot of energy through movement and kinetic power, and many witches and shamans love to channel that energy into workings and spells. Standing in a safe place, plugging into storm energy is a fantastic way to charge your own body's batteries, as well as to practice holding and directing energy. As climatic conditions warm on our planet, storms will become more severe in some places and non-existent in others, both extremes causing imbalance. Controlling climate change will assist in controlling this destructive intensity. Interesting. Next card. Number 24, wind. Change. Resisting change is useless. Be prepared for a change in direction. You have been warned of change, so believe it. Word of power. Vetter. Ancient Norse. Wind. Wind is responsible for the majority of the movement of gases on the Earth's surface. It is measured by direction, speed, velocity, and energy, and moisture content. Winds are caused by changes in atmospheric pressure. When air moves from a higher pressure to a lower or vice versa, it creates movement in the air. Winds are influenced by geography such as mountains and seas. Wind speeds are measured by the Beaufort Wind Force Scale and range from level 0 for calm to level 17 for a super cyclonic storm or typhoon with winds in excess of 222 kilometers. Level 17 winds cause total destruction of even well-made structures with solid foundations. Ancient peoples took a great deal of notice of wind direction, as it could herald a change in season, a message from the gods or guardians, a particular kind of weather event, or the beginning of trade winds. Knowing when trade winds were starting was important to transportation by sailing ship. Without favorable winds, ships would be delayed, becalmed, or sunk. Some winds have been given special names and are a part of human history and culture. The Greeks called their four winds of cardinal direction Boreas, Notus, Eurus, and Zephyrus. The Khamsin is the infamous hot wind that affects Egypt and Israel that caused invading armies huge problems via dust storms. Kamikaze is the Japanese name for the wind that turned back Mongol invaders. The minstrel is the powerful cold northwesterly wind that carries fierce storms across the Mediterranean coast of France, but is beloved by winemakers further inland. The Chinook is a warm, dry wind that melts the snow on the east side of the Canadian Rockies. It is considered a strange wind because even though it brings warmth to the freezing area, it also causes migraines. Winds have been signifiers of change for millennia. Depending where you stand, you can face them, use them, or resist them. Element is air. Next up. These are interesting cards. What do you think? Number 25, voice. Speaking your word. Use your voice, speak up. Sing your song out to the universe. It is often not what you say, but how you say it. Speak plainly and tell your story. Word of power, vox, Latin, voice. The voice is an air-powered instrument, the sound of which is made by the movement of pressured air over the vocal cords. The vocal cords vibrate, making audible pulses that are adjusted by the muscles of the larynx to give a unique variety in pitch and tone. The sound is further filtered by the lips, cheeks, and facial muscles, as well as the position of the neck and chest. Every person's voice is quite unique because of the combinations of their physiology, although we do like to mimic others for fun. The human voice is capable of a huge variety of sounds, from harmonic tonality to grunts, squeals, and screams. The voice is one way humans express and create emotion in themselves and others, and of course, communicate through complex language. Listening to amazing voices raised up in song is something humanity has been doing since prehistory. Yet perhaps more importantly, being able to speak out about what is important to us is even more vital. You must use your voice both kindly and for the greater good. Not being afraid to speak out about injustice or the change a bad law or system has always changed the world for the better. Element is air. Beautiful. Next up is number 26, pressure. Transformation. You can view pressure as being negative, or you can see it as being a shaper, director, or positive influence. Find a happy medium where you can benefit and not be disadvantaged. Word of power. Somilker. Ancient Norse, becoming. Pressure is simply defined as how much something is pushing on something else, and is measured scientifically by the analysis of an applied force by a liquid or gas. Atmospheric or barometric pressure is the pressure with the Earth's atmosphere. Blood pressure is how much pressure the force of the circulating blood is applying to the veins and arteries of the body. Pressure can be a shaping influence, especially when applied to the Earth's crust and plates. We also find the liquid pressure of water important, especially when going deep into the ocean when diving. The pressure of air exerts change on boiling points. Thus, at higher altitudes, the air pressure is different. Modern people often refer to the pressure their jobs, bosses, or life in general poses on them. Many people perform best under pressure, viewing it as a focusing force. While studies show a small amount of pressure can assist performance in a wide variety of fields. Emergency physicians, the military, and pilots train under higher than average pressure situations. However, there can be a point when too much pressure harms cognitive performance, when the pressure becomes overwhelming and it is impossible to focus clearly. Element is air. Next up, number 27, breath. Life. Focus on your breath. Allow it to guide your actions and flow. Fear often means breath holding. Let that all go. There is a place for slowing down your breath and being mindful of it. Take a deep breath and rethink your strategy. Take a deep breath and pause a few seconds before exhaling, which will train you to give yourself that little bit more time and space. Word of power, Zoe, ancient Greek, life. Simply, breath can be seen as an inhalation or exhalation from the lungs. It is the process of passing air into our lungs for respiration. However, the pace of the breath and the quality can demonstrably change state, mood, and even peak physical functionality. If you are not breathing deeply enough, it affects the function of your muscles, including your heart, your capacity to take in enough oxygen to feed your organs and brain, and of course, your sleep patterns. Snoring interferes with breathing. Certain physical and spiritual pathways, such as yoga and meditation, have always had a potent effect on the power of the breath. Breathing through the nose using the diaphragm and allowing your body's muscles to relax enough to get a full breath are just a few ways you can receive the power of having more oxygen in your body. Keeping your chest open and an upright posture allows your lungs to better do their work. The emotion of fear or feeling stress often sends hormones rushing into the body that speed up breathing, or shock will cause you to hold your breath in the form of rapid inhalation. If you realize this is a behavior you regularly do, try to be mindful and relax. Stop and take a deeper and slower mindful breath, which will give you more action and flow. Element is air. Beautiful. And next card. Number 28, music. Joy. Use music to change your mood. Music raises your vibration. Create ways you can express yourself more fully. Move your body through dance. Allow your body to heal through movement. Surround yourself with music to heal. It can be the music of nature, nature soundscapes, or human-generated music. Word of power. Musikos, ancient Greek, pertaining to the Muses. Music is an air element activity. Not only are voices powered by air and many instruments powered by breath, but music is carried by the air element to the ear. Cultural expression is often through music and not just language, and we are able to recognize different cultures through their music. We know flamenco guitar is Spanish, and that certain drum rhythms are African or Japanese, and we know what jazz, pop, or opera sound like. Elements within music, such as timbre, texture, dynamics, and expression, form, structure, rhythm, and pitch, make it complex and unique. Music is either notated or written down in a musical language or is learned by ear. Music has the ability to change mood and state, so spiritual, ritualized, and religious music are of huge cultural importance. Music was an integral part of the ancient religions of India, Egypt, Cambodia, Greece, and Rome. Achieving trance or euphoric states can be assisted by certain kinds of music, and this is part of the study of the cognitive neuroscience of music. The development of music therapy has advanced quickly as a mode of healing. Although we know that ancient Greek centers of healing almost always had a theater and music section, it can be used to help people of all ages with conditions such as depression, sensory impairments, Alzheimer's, developmental disabilities, and substance abuse issues. Element is air. Next one, and I think that this is probably going to be the last one I read, and then we'll go on to our final video to read the rest of them. How's that sound? That sounds good. Okay. So number 29, water. Creation. Flow forward with grace and confidence. Be true to your emotions. Do not allow yourself to become stagnant in your ways. Creation is your birthright. Consider what is vital to your happiness and ensure that you seek it. Word of power. Creato. Ancient Latin. He shall create. It is true that water is life. Without it, we perish, along with most other life on this planet. We are watery creatures ourselves, with up to 60% of our body's composition being water. Our lungs are over 80% water, and even our dry old bones are 31% water. Water is tasteless, colorless, transparent, flowful, and has no calories, but is perhaps the most vital element on Earth. Water is used for drinking in agriculture, manufacture, and energy production, and in joyful recreation. It is a biome in itself. Water is found in rivers, lakes, and in salted form in the oceans. It is mist, fog, and condensation, and it's frozen into ice, sleet, hail, and snow. As an element spiritually, water is related to flow, prosperity, and the direction of water movement. The tidal cycle is used in spellcraft with workings done on the incoming tide for the bringing of prosperity, love, and blessings, and on the outgoing tide to remove and release what we no longer desire. Water magic is both powerful and gentle, and almost all ancient cultures had water deities, including Genius Loki, or spirits of lakes, rivers, springs, even man-made wells. As the climate warms, the pressure on water supply will become acute. Also, places that flooded only occasionally may do so with greater volume and frequency, causing destruction and imbalance. Element is water, but we knew that, right? So we are going to end this here, and we are going to go on to our final video and finish up this deck with number 30, Oceans. So I hope you join me on the next video. And if you are enjoying this deck and would like to purchase one for yourself, there is an affiliate link in the description box below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.